Shut up and sit down.
Get started.
Let me hear.
Let's see what we can do, right?
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 11th episode of the Fatual Science Podcast. Today we have a great treat. I am with a nice guest. This table's really bothering me already. I am with a nice guest of mine who's an owner of probably the biggest growing barbershop right now in Laval area. Is it fair to say Laval area?
Laval area.
Laval area. Please present yourself, man.
DannyDid1.
DannyDid1. That your actual last name? Or that's what you go by?
No, so my name is Daniel Didoni.
Okay.
Didone. So if you split it in half, did one, right?
Okay.
So the way I came up with that was my dad has this nice big red Corvette and never lets me drive it. But one morning he told me to go start it up. So with pleasure, went in the car, started it up. And you could customize what you want written in the dash. So it said, "Welcome, Rob did one."
With the number one?
With the number one.
So you took it from your pops.
So I got it from my dad.
Alright, kept it in the family. That's legit. I respect that. So Danny did one.
Yeah.
And who are you, man? What do you do?
I'm a barber.
Okay.
I cut hair.
Okay.
Run a barbershop
Okay.
in Laval on Boulevard des Laurentides, 2 lights north from the 440.
What's it called?
D1.
D1 Barbershop, I guess, once again with the Danny did one
Well,
concept.
yeah, the fact
Perfect.
that
So you kept it
so
it
many
simple.
Ds, right?
You kept it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want to tell the whereabouts once again so people can know?
1708 Boulevard des Laurentides.
Okay.
North.
So that's
2 lights
like,
north from the 440. In Vimont.
Okay, so in
Vimont
Vimont,
area.
I've been there, so it's right off the 440.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty simple to get there, guys. We're gonna go into more about the barbershop slowly and surely, but before we get into that, I want to get into a topic that I'm a little bit more interested by. Is, if I'm not mistaken, you're at your 30th day.
30th
of what is this 90-day transformation that you're doing?
A 90-day challenge that I'm doing with George, Mr. T. Check him out on Instagram. Great guy. Great guy. Honestly, he's good at what he does.
How did that connection come about?
Funny enough, so I'm gonna say this now because he's never heard this before.
Okay, so this is George. You got to be listening
George,
to this
you gotta be listening
because it's here. It's now.
George always tells me to walk straight, so pump my chest out and walk straight.
Okay.
Okay.
But that is like now, even now when you're training?
Yeah, but no,
Okay.
just to keep like your posture straight.
Okay.
So the way George would walk into the barbershop was with his chest up and he'd just walk right by us.
Okay.
So, and he would come in every week.
To get a cut
lineup,
okay.
cut, you know?
Okay.
So every week he walks in and he's walking in like this and he's walking right by us. And I'm like, man, I see this guy every week when you walk in. And he would do it subconsciously, like he wouldn't even know.
It would just happen.
It would just happen. He would just walk right by us.
Okay.
So I'm like, yo, like, say what's up, you know? Like, I see you every week. Like, I'm trying to say what's
like,
up.
I'm kind of the owner of this place.
No, not about
nothing
that.
like that.
It's just both me and Mike are in the front, and we see the people coming in, so we're always ready to greet them, to acknowledge the client,
okay.
right? So he walks in, and we're always like trying to say hi, but he would just walk right by us. So me and Mike would always give each other the look, like, yo, this guy, man,
this man?
like what's wrong with this guy? And he gets his cut by Cam Cuts.
Yeah.
And so I went up to Cam one day and I'm like, yo, Cam, what's this guy's George? Like, does he have a thing?
Is he not
like,
saying hi?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. So he's like, no, man, George is a really nice guy, really cool guy. So I'm like, okay, all right, man. I guess maybe we're just, taking it to another level.
Maybe we took it to heart.
Yeah, I took it a bit to heart.
Okay.
Yeah. So from then, like every time we'd come in, I'd really make sure to say, "What's up? Hey, what's up, George? Hey, what's up, George?" And then he got into that habit, or like he just started saying, "What's up?" And never in an arrogant way, or it was just always like, with a smile, "Hey, what's up?" So then eventually he started like just coming in and saying what's up. So we started like kind of being friends. He'd come in at the end of the day. We'd sit down because I was done my clients, and obviously he was just kind of waiting for Cam. No, I can't say that. You can't say that.
Can't say that.
Can't say
that. So I have to edit that out.
You gotta edit that out.
Edit that out.
No. That was not a shot at Cam. But That was just he was waiting for
Cam. It's part of the story.
Yeah,
it's part of the story.
He was waiting for Cam, so we started talking, and eventually, I started seeing what he was doing with Kirk. So Kirk was coming in also probably on a weekly basis, and Kirk, which is his brother, by the way. And I'm starting to notice that the guy is starting to like drop weight, and I'm like, yo, like you're looking good, man. Like congratulations, keep it up. So he's like, yeah, I'm training with my brother. I'm on this strict diet. My meals are made. I'm not touching anything. It's a 90-day plan. I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. That sounds good, So it was always kind of something that I always said I wanted to do. I just needed that guidance into being followed and to stay consistent. So with a meal plan that I have made.
Yeah, we see on your Instagram, the meal preps and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I have the meal preps made only because I told myself I don't want to put too much on myself in the beginning.
Look, it's for someone who, and we're not trying to be arrogant. Let's not talk big, but for someone who runs their own business, you want to start off slowly. If you could have the first 30 days set up a little bit smoother for you to do the transition later on. Yeah, I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah. So like now I'm getting into the habit of it. I'm getting into the
juicing. I see.
The juice. The juice is good. I love the juice.
But let's clear one thing up. We're not talking about steroids or anything of that sort. No. He's actually talking about freshly pressed squeezed juice. About
freshly squeezed pressed juice. Yes, from a juicer.
So then, like you said, you started noticing Kirk's transformation.
Yeah, so I started noticing Kirk's transformation, and I started, talking to George and telling George, yo, George, like when Kirk is done, I'm up next. Yeah,
you have to.
Like whatever it is, like I'm up next. I'm in this to win it. So he's like, okay. So he gave me I think Kirk was about 80 days in. So he had, about 70 days in. So he still had about another 20 days ahead of him. So every day I was starting to try to get into the training, or trying to get into training with Kirk and George. But George really kept it one-on-one with Kirk, all the way to the end. He didn't give up, and he gave all his attention and all his focus to who
for those 90 days.
For those 90 days he was with.
That's amazing. Look,
yeah,
and it's a hard thing to find, in my opinion, especially because I am someone who shares that domain as well. I don't think there's a lot of, and like you said, he's a very nice person, and that's one of the traits that I've noticed from him. Yeah. Is even with you through social media and all that stuff, I notice he's always present. He doesn't let you have an off day by yourself. The first 30 days he's been by your side.
He's been on my ass consistent.
Which is amazing, let's be honest, the results...
It's consistent.
There you go.
And the results have been consistent. They've been dropping about almost 2 pounds a week. So I'm actually, maybe a little more, I would say. I'm down close to 14, 13
it's your 30. It's only been 30 days.
30 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 30 days, already down 14 pounds, and you're still enjoying your life. I see you go on vacation sometimes.
Yeah.
You still live it up.
Yeah, I went on vacation for 4 days. A week I find is a bit too long.
Okay.
But for 4 days, and honestly, I stuck to it because I was looking at everything else around me, and I was just like, no,
You've developed the lifestyle and the healthy living aspect.
Yeah. I was looking at the pizza and all the cheese and all that. And I'm just like, I remember what I felt like when I was eating that, 2-3 times a week.
And the work you're putting in as well. You're actually training. It's not like you're just coasting off of eating healthy. You're in the gym. You're putting in the progress. Yeah. So the amount of effort that you're putting is counterbalanced, in my opinion, by you understanding that you can no longer.
Yeah, I can't go back.
That's it.
I can't go back. I can't go back, and I don't want to go back. It's a lifetime struggle. It's been since. But you
were telling me before even the podcast that it's been a while that you've been wanting to get into this. But was this always a thing that when you were younger you had difficulty with, or?
Well, yes. It was a thing that I would say I've always been self-conscious about certain things.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. Maybe it was just the household and the growing up, and
it affected you.
Probably there was something that for sure. I mean, I was pretty big at 14. Okay. At 14, I was the kid sitting down around the pool while everybody's eating hot dogs, but they're all chiseled little abs going on
cute
there,
little
and I'm
six,
just like,
cute
what
little
the,
six packs,
like,
and you
I
get
feel like
insecure.
I have tits,
You get insecure for sure.
Like I wasn't happy with that. So from the age of around 16 to about 18, when I was still living at my parents', I started hitting the gym, and actually the reason why I remember I started hitting the gym was because I got into a fight in high school.
Oh.
Yeah, I got into a
Is this things we can post, or this has to be...
Sorry?
Can we post this online, or do I have to edit this part?
No, this is just something that we all go through as teenage boys, in my opinion. It's
a little
just
scrap.
a little scrap over a girl, and like
usually is over a girl.
It was just like it just still made no sense. But one guy's telling you to come here, and so your ego takes over you, and you just want to be, I guess,
macho. In that moment,
macho,
you don't want to be that 16-year-old who backs off.
You know. So, anyways, I showed up to the park, and the guy had a baseball bat. So I took a few hits with a baseball bat, pretty good ones. And but I took them, So like I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm not saying that it was just something that kind of triggered my now I gotta get stronger. It
ignited that.
That spark. Yeah. It ignited that spark of now it's time to switch this up a bit.
To put in some work.
So yeah, that was it. So from 16 to 18 years old, I was really good with it. I mean, it was simple because I was living at home with my parents. Food was always an issue living with my parents, but I was still starting to have a little more control on what I wanted to eat.
Okay.
So I would still I would cook my eggs in the morning. Like I kind of always had a basic knowledge, and my dad was also very knowledgeable when it comes to all this.
But it was more a thing like you were mentioning where it was never consistent for the entirety of the time.
No, it's never been consistent. Like
Not
I would
like
get
this.
on it. No, exactly. Like I would get on and then like I'd drop off. Like something would happen. I'd go on vacation for a week, come back, and 6 months later
You're back at ground one.
I'm back at ground one,
And where you are now 30 days into it, do you feel like you're done, you're changed, you can't go back to...
I can't go back. No way. No. There's no way.
There's
no way. This is a lifestyle that I've needed to develop because it creates such consistency, routine, and it makes everything just so much easier.
It puts things into their place.
Like you know exactly what you're eating. You're walking into the grocery store. You're not questioning what am I gonna eat or what. You know exactly what you're getting. So things are so much more.
You're more organized,
quicker and efficient. You're more organized. So it's definitely something that I'm gonna keep up.
And do you I also know you did a good thing from your behalf as well, challenging. I know you challenged a lot of your barbers that work with you.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been a challenge. It's just been I guess once one person is doing it, well, it kind of
chain effect,
and then everybody else is starting to get into it. Let's be honest, summer's around the corner.
Everyone wants to look a little bit better.
You gotta give yourself.
And is there anything that you would want to say to? Because this is what I like to do in the aspect that since you're relatively new to the consistency of fitness, is there anything any words that you would want to give out to people that have a hard time
getting into it,
doing that extra push, like doing 5 days and stopping, doing 10 days and stopping.
Yeah. It's just go. Even if it's just for 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. Just get yourself into the routine of going, and that's when you're gonna start to want to do more. Because if you just start by doing 20 minutes a day of light walking on a treadmill, well, you're gonna see something at the end of the week, and you probably feel better, and you just want to do more after because you're just gonna want to see more results.
For sure, it's a build up effect. So, so go for it, huh?
So go for it. Just get there. Just give yourself that extra push just to get there. Do 20 minutes. You don't have to go crazy, in my opinion, and start to run and doing an hour of cardio every day. And it's just start slow.
Find your pace.
Find your pace and build from it.
Okay, so I feel like that's great words of advice, especially for someone who was never fully into it and then now you're into it. I feel like a lot of people can associate with that because it's harder for someone to look at someone's page like George, who's been into fitness for a while. He's done his competitions, whereas you you're being honest about it. You know, you're not lying. You're not saying you've been into fitness your entire life. But 30 days into it, you've seen the results. You've seen the healthier changes in your life. And people who get mad about the fact that, yeah, well, they've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years. You've been doing it for 30 days.
Well, no, truth, yes, I have been doing it for 30 days like this.
Okay.
But I have been training. I did CrossFit in the past.
Okay.
So I did build I had a good base before starting. Okay. But it was never consistent. Like, I'd get to CrossFit, I'd lift a lot, but I'd still be 180 pounds.
Because my
eating was never consistent.
Okay.
So, you know,
just the full package.
The full package. It's just being doing the full package.
Okay. And now I feel like that's a character trait of yours, because taking the full package from fitness, let's convert this topic into the barbershop itself. This is really where I wanted to go into, and you don't have to say it. I'll say it. I'll be honest, and people can see it through the social media, and they can see it if they ever come to the barbershop itself. We're gonna be honest here. Your barbershop it's one of the better looking, better performing, and it's a good environment to be at. I've been there. I've gotten my hair cut there. I think it was Mike who cut my hair.
Yeah.
I've never had a complaint about it. And what's your philosophy behind the barbershop? Like, why? First of all, why'd you start? Okay. How'd you start it? Why'd you start it? And then where are you now?
Okay. Well, I just got shivers by what you said. So
okay.
Thank you. I appreciate the
It's just honesty. Like, you haven't done anything for me. You don't owe me anything. But I feel like this is what I like to do. You know, especially for someone who's put in the work, and like we spoke about it off air, and like you'll mention it now. You didn't inherit $1 million, and you didn't just start this business. Like, you started from zero.
Yeah.
And then you are to where you are now. So there has to be this passion into you, and I appreciate that for everybody who does anything. So I want to know what you're taking.
Okay. Well, how did I start cutting hair? I always had a thing for it. I'd get my haircut even in from times where I started training from 16 to 18 is when I started caring a little more about what I looked. So I always would get a haircut every 2 weeks as soon as I saw that it was grown out, and I'd go myself. I'd get on my bike, and I was working at Pizza Hut at the time, and which I got fired from.
Okay, which I'm sure is a funny story. But
but
we don't have to get into that one. Yeah, we'll do that off air. We'll do that off air when no one's listening. So you were always like aware of how you look, and it was always
how I looked, and it was always something that was in the back of my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what was the question?
Why?
How did
why D1 and why?
So I got to a point in my life where I was working at the bank, and I hated my life.
Okay.
Like, it was bad. Not to say anything about the job itself, because there's a lot of people out there doing that job, and I respect every single person who's out there doing it and waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, taking a metro to go to work, and a bus, and finishing at 5 o'clock, and having the same
thing the next day.
Same thing every day. You know, like, you definitely have to respect that.
For sure.
It's nothing that you could ever spit on, because it's something that I've done, I've lived, my mom has done and lived for.
It's work.
It's work.
Look, it's work, and everyone has to find their means of doing it. But you're being honest, and it wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I couldn't do it. So I would, like I said, I would get into the barbershop. I'd leave on a Friday morning. I'd go get my haircut every Friday morning.
Okay.
And I'd leave there, and I'd be like, this is something like I could do, and I would watch them do it, but I would never see it as a profession or as a career, because everybody's always pushing you into doing something else, like, for example, becoming a doctor or a lawyer, or, at a certain point,
higher expectations.
Yeah. So, at a certain point, you start to say, well, I work at the bank, so it's like, ooh,
there's a fancy
quote,
I
work at the bank.
Yeah.
What do you do? Credit card customer service.
It's a stunt. It's a front more than anything else.
I can't describe the feeling, because to me, it's something that I just really didn't like. Like, I felt like when you're attached to a computer and a phone, like, you're literally on a leash.
Yeah.
So there's a wire that's holding you, and you can't move a certain distance. Like,
you're stuck in that cubicle.
You're stuck there. Like, you're literally stuck there. So I said, I can't do this anymore. To the point where I rolled out of bed one morning to hit the floor and get up from the floor to get to work, because I had to get to work, because I had bills to pay
So,
because like everybody else.
Quite literally, you hit rock bottom.
Yeah, I hit rock bottom. So I took a sick leave. I went on a sick leave, and I just told myself that it was that time. It was now or never. It's either I do this now, or the boat will sail.
Okay.
So I learned how to cut hair during that time, by Quality Cuts in the West Island. Will Barney, mentor of mine. I respect the man.
Okay.
I've learned and took so much from him that if ever anything comes up, I give him
the references,
the props and the references
there.
Yeah, it's an automatic.
Okay, so the sick leave and then learning and then
that was it. So from there, I came back from my sick leave, and at that time I wasn't even a barber, or I wasn't considered a barber, but I would tell people that I'm a barber.
Yeah.
You know, so
because you enjoyed saying that more than you ever did saying that you're a banker.
Yes, but I believed in myself so much that I knew that this wouldn't fail.
Okay, that's amazing.
So I knew that it wouldn't fail because I knew that I was gonna give it my 110% and just kill it, just go for it all the way. Like it had to happen because I couldn't start at another job again and just work that way up to being completely fed up of it, and then
because now you knew what
Yeah.
it was really that you wanted,
Yeah.
and then once you get the taste of it, there's literally no going back.
There's
and then this was how many years ago, if you can estimate roughly?
This was about 5 years ago.
So 5 years.
5 years.
And 5 years later.
Yeah, that was
14.
Maybe 30. So I was about 25. 25, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 5 years. 5 years into it. And then I'm assuming it was humble beginnings. I doubt you started off with your store right away.
No. I had a little area in my condo that I set up, and people would just come in, and honestly I wouldn't even charge. I would just do it for free.
Just the enjoyment.
It wasn't about the enjoyment. It was, for me, it's like it was just for practice.
Okay.
So I'd get my friends to come, and I'd tell them, like, one of my best friends, Sammy, I'd say, Sammy, come, like, let me just line you up, let me fix your beard, So he'd come over every night, we'd light a shisha, chill, and I'd just fix up his beard. And, then I'd nick him, I'd cut him, or I'd leave him with, like, really red lines, and I would never understand why until the point where I started to really understand, okay, this is how you have to hold it.
Getting into the details.
Really getting into the details of things. So, so it was just practicing. Then at a point I was starting to say, okay, well, you know what? I could start charging, or I could start doing something with this. So I moved that little area in the living room. That was in the living room, collecting hair everywhere, cutting from.
For sure, it's a mess. It's a mess.
So I moved it into the second room in the back, and then I closed it off. So I started having a lot of friends coming every Friday night. I would keep it to Friday nights. You guys want to come for a haircut? It's either Thursday. Yeah, Friday nights.
So you kept the tradition of your Friday night cuts, and you pushed it onto your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So my friends would come in every Friday, and this was at the time where I was working landscaping with my uncle.
Okay.
So I'd work a full day, like literally from 6 to 7 a.m. Because I had quit the bank.
Okay.
I had quit the bank at that point, so I went back from my sick leave and I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm becoming a barber. So I went back, I quit, and still during that time I needed to make money, so I was working for my uncle's in landscaping. So I'd do crazy days and come home, and then I'd cut till 1 a.m. of just
after 7 p.m. after a full day of shifts.
After a full day of shifts, just
crazy.
Cutting till 1 a.m. So, and I would give it my 100%, even from my house, So I would make sure that every picture I took was post worthy, was Instagram worthy, and I would be my biggest critique, because if I take a picture and I see a line, I'm not thinking about what somebody's gonna say or a client's gonna say. I'm thinking about what other barbers are gonna say.
Yeah, because it's the job.
Because it's the job, right? So it's it's the first thing you're looking at when you look at anything on the Instagram or on Instagram, is you're looking for imperfection.
Always, but that's human nature.
Yes.
You always want to find something where you could point
something
and
that you could point out and critic. And that's why I feel like social media is becoming it's just all perfection.
Yeah.
You know, so
but it's fake. It's fake perfection.
Fake perfection.
For sure.
So it's playing with a lot of our. But that's a whole.
We can get to that later on, definitely. Yeah. But I feel like your point of view from it, where you didn't use it as bitterness, you used it more as a method of improving yourself.
Of improving myself, yeah. So, I'd make sure that all my pictures were post-worthy, and from there I just kind of took off, and I went to work from there into a salon off of the 19 in Laval.
Okay.
It was called. I'm not gonna mention.
It's alright. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. But you put in your time. You did your ropes. You put in your time.
Yeah. I put in my time, and honestly, giving out business cards. The old school way. Business cards. Get out there for anybody. If I have to say for anybody who wants to start something, get out there with business cards. Introduce yourself, give your business cards out, and install a sense of confidence.
See, this is what I was talking to you about, and this is the question that I wanted to ask you now. And I want to come back near the end. We'll finish it off on a nice note about the barbershop. But from your point of view, you're a 29-year-old guy. You did all of this, and then we spoke about the Instagram aspect, and you're saying go out and put in the work. But my question to you is, how do you feel about this new generation that feels like just because they're doing something, they're entitled to be the best at it, and everyone has to give them something because, you know what? Well, I'm doing... Like, there's so many people who cut hair now.
Yeah.
You know this for a fact because it's part of your domain. Let's keep it to your domain. Yeah. But so many of these people believe that just because they can take a nice picture that they deserve to have the most amount of clients because they took a nice picture, whereas you've put in years of, like you said, meeting people, talking to people.
It's very simple. My answer to that is very simple. Is anything that tries to go up too quick will come down too quick.
Okay.
So you want to be entitled? Fine, be entitled. It's not gonna last. It's not gonna last forever. So start slow, build something slowly, and eventually it'll blossom. Right?
Like 5 years.
Like 5 years, or like a flower. How does a flower or a plant? It takes time. It
you
comes out of the ground.
You have to nurture
it. You gotta give it love and tender, loving care.
Which again, like you said, the whole perfection, the fake perfection of Instagram. That's where I feel like it becomes harder and harder because again, like people look at someone like you or not just you, but all the barbers that work out of D1. They look at that. They looked at the products. And they try to compare it, and they get this sense of, that's how I see, that's, in my opinion, that's how I feel like it is. And people get this sense of jealousy as to like, well, you know what, like why is he getting this or why is he getting that? And there's hatred. Yeah,
but that will always be, in my opinion. There's always going to be hatred. There's always going to be that evil eye. There's always going to be that somebody looking over, and I see it. I notice it. I see who's looking to look, and I see who's looking for,
but it's something
other things. But it's nothing that you could let affect you, because if you let it affect you, you're gonna attract more of it. Okay. So laws of attraction.
That's a very cool perspective. Honestly,
yeah. If you put out a positive energy, you're gonna get positive return. It's gonna happen. And I give this example to a lot of people when I'm trying to explain how important being on time is. Is that if you leave in the morning, you're leaving your house, you're getting up, you start at, 10 o'clock, but you get up at 9:43. Well, you're getting up in a rush, you're not going to eat, you're probably going to jump into your car, the light's going to turn red, you're going to freak out, you're going to start your day on just a negative mindset, you're going to get to work, your boss is not going to be happy, your clients are not going to be happy, and you won't be happy for the rest of the day.
And then you'll find a reason to complain and be
then
negative.
Exactly. So, just
preparation.
Yeah, but yeah. So
or just respect yourself and the person more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm forgetting again what we were talking about.
We're talking about how I feel like, especially in any domain that's a technique, because what you do is a technique. It's an art. It's a technique. It's not someone paying you full time for a job. It's you putting in your own ropes. It's putting in your own work. And again, but your answer about it was so amazing because you eliminated yourself because I feel like I played devil's advocate and I put you in a place where you could have been a piece of shit. You could have been like, there's some people that are haters, but fuck haters, but you didn't.
Yeah. No. Don't even focus on that. Don't even give it a second thought. Just don't
Because
even.
you know what, it makes sense though, because I feel like you would, if you're sacrificing your time and energy onto that,
it's what you're doing for yourself.
That's it.
It's like, if they're not doing it for them, then I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Get out and get it. Get out, give business cards. Get out, introduce yourself. Get out, talk to people. Tell them you're a barber. Hey, that's a nice haircut. Who cuts your hair? Oh, this guy. Oh, really? Okay, you know what? Listen. Not if ever you need, his barber's out of town, you need a haircut, give me a call. Yeah, come see me. Not, oh, that guy's shit. Oh, don't, I could do better than that. Nobody's ever gonna come and see you if you ever say something like that. You say the guy's haircut's no good, you're gonna be like,
who's this guy? You know, like,
you
don't know
me.
you're
Get out of
shit.
here. Yeah. No, it's a nice haircut, and that's always been my approach. And in my opinion, it sets like an expectation. You know, like, well, if this is what I have, and somebody's able to offer me something else, well, you know,
it's up to that person to decide how much of it they're prioritizing. You know,
or you're also putting yourself out there in a way where it's like, I could do good, you know, and I believe in myself to do good enough, like from what I see.
And again, what you're doing isn't anything negative. You know, you're not bashing anyone, so you're still giving out that positive energy.
Always.
So, like you mentioned, if the barbershop's out of town, or if his barber is out of town, then you've given out the positive enough feedback where the person is, you know what, I can give him a chance. Yeah. There's no wrong. There's no wrong, and there's no harm in that.
That's what builds. That's what, in my opinion, what builds. That's what.
So
builds
can you actively say that, like, your big philosophy on it is just the positivity and the honesty, like you said, the honesty about being on time and the.
Yeah. I mean, positive energy is always something that I don't always put on my personal life, because if anybody would be watching who would say, you know, no, he's not all that positive, it's true, it could be, but when it comes to a business aspect, you have to be, very positive about, you know, how you're going to greet your clients, how your clients, or how anybody's going to feel when they're coming in through your doors.
So like you said, just always attract that good energy.
Attract that good energy, and it'll keep the bad out.
And now let's come back to the growth and what is D1 now. You know, let's cover this topic. Let's end it on a good note, because I feel like, and it's well deserved again. But the first time I came to D1, I believe you had 8 chairs, if I'm not mistaken, and now you're at 10.
We're at 11.
11 chairs. 11 chairs. So I'm not a genius in this domain. You know, I don't understand how it works. But I've been around. I've been to enough barbershops. I mean, the hairline doesn't really do me justice now. But I've done my share of haircutting, and I feel like 11 chairs is a nice place.
It's a nice accomplishment, I have to say, but it's just because of
time and passion.
And keeping in touch with the right people at the right times.
And you want to explain the decor real quick, because I feel like it's something that the viewers. I'll post the link for IG for sure, which is D1 Barbershop.
Yeah, D1 Barbershop.
So check that out for sure at D1 Barbershop. But the decor itself, it has something different. And I know when you walked in, you checked out the jersey, and you had that like appreciation for it.
I love anything that has to do with Montreal. I love the city of Montreal. I don't live in Montreal. I live in Laval. But I just feel like the whole history behind Montreal is insane. Not like, we can't forget that we have probably some of the best food. Yeah. Very clean city, as much as we hate, you know, like the potholes and all that stuff.
The complaints about snow and everything.
Yeah. It's clean, you know. We keep the city clean, in my opinion, because I've traveled to Italy and Greece, and I've seen like Milan, and it's, you know, it's filled with graffiti. It's nothing like what we have.
It's not the cleanliness.
It's no. Beautiful girls. I think we have some. I
think majority of the people listening to this could agree on that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So I love anything that has to do with Montreal. Expos, and the red and the blue was, you know, when you kind of think about it, it does have that barber feel, that barber aspect.
The symbol outside, like, with the twirling thing.
Yeah. So when I was opening up the shop, and my dad was a big fan of Muhammad Ali. Okay. So there's that. He has actually a Muhammad Ali portrait tattooed on his arm.
That's a big fan.
That's a big fan.
That's a big fan.
Yeah. And that portrait was like, you know, the famous portrait where he's holding like this, and everything was always black and white, but only his glove was red.
Okay.
And we always had that, and I always seen that. So I always loved, red and black, white, red. So I kind of brought that all together. And I only wanted touches of red. So basically the chairs were all red. Any seating area would be red. And when I opened the shop, I got a gift from a good friend of mine who brought me the Jordans.
Yeah, which is in a case.
Yeah, you notice the Jordans in the case. Those are one of one.
Okay. Limited edition.
Limited edition Jordans. And it just created the whole theme.
The philosophy
it created the whole theme.
As you were explaining, I think everything is one out of one.
Everything is one out of one. From the chairs to those Jordans, from the sound system to the wood wall that's custom built, to the little decors that I got from traveling. From everywhere I go, I always bring back a little something. So it's like little things that you probably won't find here, but that put together just
it makes it a nice place. And again, I feel like from someone who's been in there, I feel like it's safe to say that you don't get this, and I was explaining to you this, you don't get this vibe when anyone walks into your barbershop. They don't get the vibe that they're just in another copy paste barbershop. You don't get the vibe that you're gonna get the same service. It's a completely different aspect. You guys have the nice sitting area. I know you guys changed the spot around, but you guys have the nice sitting area. You guys have the TV set up. You guys, it's a comfortable place to be. It's a place where I feel like people enjoy getting their haircuts. And from what I've realized, and we can speak about this quickly as well, like the Foo Fade Fridays that you do.
Foo Fade Friday.
I feel like it's always packed. Whenever I looked at your social media, you guys always have people in there, and it's that old school barbershop atmosphere where people are talking. You're cutting hair, but you're speaking to the guy behind you, and it creates it's a fun environment to be in.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the best feedback I can get.
I feel like anyone doing what, like the little details that you're getting or the chairs or all that stuff, you don't do it to say that you're doing it, but you enjoy it when you get the feedback.
That's me. Like what you see in there is me.
Yeah.
Like that's all just me. That's my perspective. That's my views. That's my, I like to piece things together. I like to say, okay, this is gonna go there. That's gonna go here, and like just make it come together. And when it's final product,
because it's your vision. It's you. It's the same guy 5 years later, no longer in that cubicle, no longer working as a banker, and you're finally like doing what you wanted to do. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it has to. And for anybody else who I would say wants to start a business or be in business, you have to be the business. Like you
live
are
it,
the
breathe
business.
it, sleep
live
it.
it, breathe it, sleep it.
That's amazing, bro. Honestly, tell me real quick what Foo Fade Friday is.
Foo Fade Friday was just like we said, from tradition, from having all the boys over on Friday nights, before going out, going to the club, whatever it is for the weekend. You need that fresh haircut.
Keep that fresh haircut.
So Foo Fade Friday was the day that I would always get my haircut on Fridays, and it was my busiest day of the week when I was working alone with
from your apartment.
From my apartment and from also the salons and things like that I moved into. Fridays were my craziest days. So I would always say like Foo Fade, like as soon as I'd be done, I'd tell my friend Sammy, especially, I'd be like, yo, sister, Foo Fade. You
would quote that.
Yeah, I would quote
and
that.
It stuck.
And it stuck, So then I'm like, Foo Fade, and it was Friday. I'm like, Foo Fade Friday.
It clicked. Okay. It's a nice name.
It catches, it's a catchy. It's a bit of French, English, and
Montreal again.
Montreal,
the bilinguality of Montreal.
That's the beauty of it. That's what we could do. We could put words with French and English, put it together, and we'll understand it.
And the culture, that's what I appreciate the most about you, and that's why I appreciate you coming on here and speaking, is because you're someone who loves that community aspect. That's what I've realized of you. You like to keep it close. You like to keep it to the people. To the people. You like to stay knit with who you know and expand the people you know.
That's what it was. That was moving into Vimont was where I grew up. I grew up in Vimont. I knew pretty much everybody, and not everybody, but I knew a lot of people, just from hanging around and meeting up at Tim Hortons and just chilling in parking lots, which I didn't do for too long, but it was a stage,
it's just, I feel like everyone goes through that.
Yeah. So I met and knew a lot of people, and there was a niche. I knew there was a niche. There was something that was missing. That's what was missing. We had everything else, well, not really, but...
There's still some stuff missing. I know you guys are interested in having a potential gym there.
Oh man, that would be
perfect.
That would be perfect.
Yeah,
a gym right next door.
We'll see how that works out. Maybe down the road. honestly, bro, my last question, and if you don't want to speak about this, you don't have to, is what's next for D1? Is there like a potential of a second store, or you want to keep it one of one?
It might be a bigger one of one.
Okay, and we'll keep it there. We'll cut it.
We'll just cut it there.
A bigger one of one.
A bigger one of one.
Look, bro, honestly, it was a pleasure having you on. This has been probably like everything that you've said, honestly, for someone like I'll translate it to myself, for someone who's starting off his own little thing as well. You know, it's reassuring to know that, you know, the beginning might not be the easiest, but you just gotta keep pushing.
Yeah,
you gotta keep pushing.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments that you would want to add briefly about where you stand on your 30 days? You have any goals that you want to accomplish in the next 30 coming? I know abs. I know having some abs would be.
Man, that I've never seen abs before. I've never seen my abs.
So George, I feel like you got a little responsibility on your hands.
George is on that. He's way ahead. That
he knows when that's coming.
He knows what day it's gonna happen. You know.
Do you have anything that you wanted to add, bro?
That I wanted to add, aside from thanking you and thanking you for taking the time to having me and to do this, you know,
very appreciated, bro.
It's appreciated, and I respect what you're doing. I really like, you know, starting from
the bottom, bro. Like Drake said, from the bottom, now we're here.
There we go.
Tell them where they can find you, where they can find the barbershop.
You can find me at DannyDid1
on Instagram.
Perfect. You can find the barbershop at D1 Barbershop. You can find the location also on the Instagram of barbershop. Of the Instagram, my bad. And the address is 1708 Boulevard des Laurentides North.
Right
lights north from the 440.
And is it open every day?
It's open from Tuesday to Sunday.
That's not reassuring.
Tuesday to Sunday.
So Mondays are closed?
Yeah, Mondays are closed.
Okay. Listen up, guys. Honestly, I'm not here to upsell anyone. I'm not here to brag about anyone, talk big about anyone. But if you're in the area,
yeah,
give it a go. If you guys even
give us a try.
If you need a cup of coffee,
just come in for a coffee.
If you need a laugh, I know you guys always have people bringing in food as well.
Yeah,
I always see puffs or something inside that barbershop, which might be hard for someone on his diet.
Man,
but look, give it a go. It's a haircut. You never regret a haircut, like you said. You always look a bit better when you leave than when you came in.
Exactly.
Give him a follow. It was very appreciated.
Thank you.
And I want to have you back on once you finish those 30
90 days.
And then, yeah, exactly. Once you crack those 90 days, I want to have you back on and you'll be a different man.
Yeah, probably.
Perhaps have that six-pack.
Maybe my face might be a little more
bit skinnier, but grow a beard.
Yeah.
The beard will cover
the beard's
it up.
not going anywhere.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Once again, guys, Instagram, DannyDid1 or D1 Barbershop. Check it out. Don't bother him too much. Go check him out at work. Get a fresh haircut. Full Fade Fridays.
Full Fade Friday.
Or any other day of the week. Except for Monday.
Yeah, except for Monday.
Mondays. Thank
Mondays.
you very much. It's been a pleasure. Keep killing the gym, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Wrap this one up. Have a wonderful